Good morning, everyone. This is BizTix TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today is Wednesday, so we are so glad to see that Coach Karen is back. Woo! It's so good to have you in the house. Oh my goodness, because on Wednesdays, we talk about profits in daily.
Yeah.
Yes. And so Coach Karen is here to talk to you about how to manage your money for your home and your business. So with that, without further ado, I just want to give one shout out to my partner, Miss Francine Gregory, real estate entrepreneur and tech diva. And I'm Tara Lena from California Cover Ups. We're the Biz Chicks. And here is Coach Karen all the way from Toronto, Canada.
Thanks for the wonderful introduction and Happy New Year. Happy 2020.
Happy New Year.
To one and all, to our listeners and our replay listeners. This year, I always thought focus on money and mindset, but this year I'm just gonna really hammering it home with the money as I start end of the year that way. That I was rolling right into this year to really focus on allowing people to just see this as a tool and stop feeling so confined and stop feeling like you can't talk about it, because there's still so much people that can't talk about it or don't have it and just worry about it. So we're going to be talking a lot about money.
Just a moment, Karen. I want to put you in the premier position here. Okay.
And we're going
to go like this. Okay, there we go.
And we'll primarily be talking about, at least for this month, I don't know how long I'm going to run the series for, but the emotion behind the money. Matter of fact, all year we're going to be talking about the emotion behind the money and what's holding you back, because it's a lot of that stand in the way between you and somebody else doing it and making it, and you're watching them and you're thinking, how come it's now my turn? And really and truly, we all have to put in the time. There's no question about that. There's no quick fix. I don't care who offers it. There's no quick fix, but there's this continuous trotting along to get to where you want to be. And that means you got to be thinking about it. And any emotions you feel, anything that's happening, you got to deal with it and then press on. So we're going to talk about the reasons, and we're going to talk about the beliefs and a whole bunch of things. And all this month, we're going to talk about. So I got 6 things we're going to cover at different times, obviously. So only one today. We're going to talk about the anger, the sadness, the guilty happiness, the health.
The guilty happiness. That sounds like a good one.
Yeah, the health of the emotion behind the money, the willingness, and the bonus series, the selfishness, because people try to get in your face to let you know how selfish you are. If you buy a car, if you buy a house, because they're not there yet. It's real.
Or you don't give them your money.
Yes, and this is social media. So celebrating you sometimes could be offensive to somebody else. So we just want to, get in there and talk about it and get you on a good note, So this series is all about the emotion behind the money and how that is holding you back. And today's topic is the angry part of it, the anger. If you can be subtly angry, you can be forcefully angry. So sometimes when we're angry, we're not thinking that we are, but when things happen and this emotion arises, then you realize, I'm really upset. I'm really angry that I have no money. And you know what? It's okay to say, and it's okay to be understanding of yourself in that emotion, because when you do, you can grow from it. Every single CEO, every business owner will tell you, I learned more when I was in failure land. And the reason they learn more in failure land is because the anger is coming out. The feeling of, I should have known. All that stuff is happening. And it's not a bad thing. It's a thing that has to be resolved. So you have to go through it to get to the other side. You could be angry about anything. It could be your husband, your wife, your kids, your sister, anybody that angers you. And you're in this space, on a roller coaster space, where you're going around and around, not dealing with it, and it's interfering with other parts about it. So you have to be careful, or you have to keep self-examine rather of yourself, because there's things that anger never is. I want to pause and say this. Anger never is just the one thing, even though we think it is. By the time you're angry, you've been building up on different things that's been happening time and
Mm,
time again. And then you
uh-huh.
get to the place where you're totally in anger. And if you're in the worst stages, you're like shaking and it's coming out physically. But it started off, it happens in the mind first. And could you imagine you have all that backstory happening and you're
Mhm.
trying your darnest to get your business moving?
Yes, Cecilia says, yes, angry and sad when I have no money. I'm feeling you, girl. I get upset too. She also says Happy New Year, but
Happy New Year, girl.
sort of soften that reaction. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. And you're angry and you're really mad about all these things. But if you took a step back from the anger and you ask yourself this question that is hard, but it's a must: how did I get here? First question:
Mhm,
how did I get here?
mhm,
Now, when you answer that question, it's never really good because you're taking ownership for getting there. But it's okay.
mhm,
You have to understand it's okay to get there.
mhm.
When you take ownership, you can do something about it. If you don't take ownership, you can't do anything about it. So you
Mm,
have to understand, how did I get here? And so I'm going to a little bit of story time here. We get there for different several reasons: for burying our heads in the sand, for not paying attention to what's going on, or the situation seems impossible at the time, and you think that you couldn't do anything about it. Now, that's not true, but that's what you're thinking or what you have felt before. And although this might sound like an old story and this doesn't happen anymore, man, it is still happening today.
mhm.
The story I want to touch on is a woman who her husband left her and she had no money and she had nowhere to go. But this been happening because she buried her head in the sand, because he worked, he paid all the bills. She got a whatever allowance, I would like to call it, because that's what it was, to run the household.
Yes.
When he was no more the supplier, she felt angry and upset. And how could he do this to her? But the truth is, she allowed this part to happen to her. And Terry, you know the story because I talked about it before when I used to talk about the stories and what happened to lead me up into coaching. So this is not old. But could I tell you, I don't know if it's about 3 months ago, I was talking to somebody who is in this very position as I spoke. And this was years ago. I was young.
But but I would think that this would be very prevalent right now, Coach, because of all the economic impacts of
Oh,
what's
for
going
sure.
on in different economies.
Yes.
People often get divorced or
Yes.
left behind when there's
Yes.
an economic emergency,
Yes.
uh, or shift, if you will.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
and so this is very relevant to, I'm
Yeah.
sure, a number of people right now.
Yes, so if you're in that situation and you happen to listen to this, just know that you start where you are. There's no accusation, there's no, oh my God, what I do. No, it's just where you are at the moment. And if that's you at the moment, then you kick up your heels and you find out again what got me here. And if it's because I didn't want to deal with money, then need to go take a money class. You need to go take a money management class.
Mm,
You
mm,
really need to go pay attention to money. I have a free 5-day money management challenge that I park it right now, but I usually use that. There's people on YouTube who talk about money, and yes, it's cut up and it's in pieces. But for me, when I do a challenge or a class, it's full. You get what I tell you you're gonna get at the end. So if you don't know that, you get a class and you go find out about it and really put in the time. Here's the other thing I want to talk about: a class or a challenge. When you take a class or a challenge, please sit down and get it done. If you know that all you have is half and 30 minutes every single day, put on your timer and 5 days or 7 days a week, sit down and do it. Matter of
do the
fact, before
work.
you even begin, say to yourself, I need, 3 months to get this course done. Don't feel rushed. Do not allow the
Mm,
outwardness to make you feel rushed. I really want to allow yourself some time. Like I say to me, I say, Karen, it's okay to take some time. Or Karen, it's okay to just pause and do that for yourself. So if you know that you can only have 30 minutes, do not say I'm going to do it in hours. Take that 30 minutes. 30 minutes 6 times a week is what? You see how it adds? That's 3 hours a week. So you can
Mhm.
say for 3 hours a week, I'm going to learn about money. And that's what you do. You get a notebook and you write it down. I know you can come on the computer, but I don't want you there because it's too distracting. I want you with pen and paper, and I want you to sit down and learn, if that's what you need to learn, about money. All the different aspects. Now, you can't learn everything at once, but learn the major, the main one. And that is really simple. How much money I'm bringing in to how much expenses I have. That is what a budget really is about. How much money I'm bringing in to how much expenses I have. And could I cut any of the expenses down to suit the money I'm bringing in? If you at this point, because this is the biggest question I get every time I say this, what if I have no money? I beg to differ, because then I'm going to ask you to walk around your house and see what you have that has value.
Mhm.
And then once that list is made, then I want you to see what you have as an individual that brings value and how you're going to use it. And that's where your income stream is going to come from, so that we can work on how you're going to allocate your dollars to your expenses.
You know what, Coach? I think a lot of times when we are in emergency situations, we don't even realize where we have money. We
Right,
don't even think about the fact that many of us have 401ks,
right.
or many of us have some little stock somewhere,
Mhm.
or we have a piece of exercise equipment that we haven't used that we could put online.
Right.
Things,
Something.
but we need to get somewhere, as we say in Biz Chicks, and
And
sit
sit.
down.
True, 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 true. You really have to sit down and see what you have. And I mean, I've got piles and piles of story of people who, when we get to talking, and I would say, you do have money, and what is needed immediately, and what is needed in the next 2 weeks. Because if you lump everything for the week that you need the money and realizing that you need something in 2 weeks, it's a different story. And here's the other thing: if you're angry and you stay in the angry position without figuring it out, you never will figure it out. I'm always amazed when I say to somebody, let's pay this bill today, and worried about the bill that's coming out on the 16th in the next how many days. So let's say it was the beginning of the month. And I had a lady once, and I said, let's pay the bill, for the first. And then we're worried about the 16th. And she says, no, no, no. I said, but you don't have enough. So let's pay the bill on the first, and let's work in everything that you can do. So when the 16th come around, you can pay this bill. And she said to me, I remember she saying to me, she says, but Karen, if I do that, then no, there's no then. Here's what's going to happen. If you pay the bill on the 16th, the $45, the $54.95, the $61.20, and I could say these numbers because of people I've dealt with. That was the
Mhm.
interest on their bill if they didn't pay it on time. And then I would calculate it, and I'd say to them, multiply the 61 by 12. That's how much money you're giving the company every year because of the late payment. So let's get you out of this late payment habit where you pay on the first, you pay on the 16th. You're no longer angry with the hydro company because how they're gouching you. No, they're supplying you with electricity. That's what they're doing in exchange for you to be able to watch your TV, cook your food, blah, blah. They're not gouching you. You are giving them voluntarily
Mhm.
$61.25 because you're late.
Wow.
Stop giving it to them.
Mhm. Mhm.
So you don't have to waste that angry emotion on them. You can use it somewhere else. Let's figure out where you're going to use it.
Yes.
So we get out of that state. And the next thing, once you build up enough income, what I had her do is allow herself to give herself the $61.25 every month that she would have given to hydro. This way, at the end of the year, she has got the 12th payment in her pocket. Now she can take it and invest it and do what else she want to do with it, because it's not given to hydro anymore. And it seems small, but could you imagine if you did that on your water bill, on your gas bill, your food bill that maybe you put on your credit card but didn't pay it on time? You're giving it to the credit card company, and you were
Yeah.
to add up all these pieces, and at the end of the year, I mean, you didn't put it in anything to make interest, but you give yourself the interest you would have given to the company. That in itself, to me, is the biggest win. Because at
Wow.
the same time, you're learning about money. You're understanding how it works. So when you do put it in an investment, you can actually understand what's happening because you've done it yourself. You're
Mhm.
understanding compound interest. What I just talked about there is called compound interest. It's happening on the other side instead of on your side. That's what credit card, that's what extra money on your bill is, compound interest.
Well, Sherry says, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Sherry. We're
Happy
talking
New Year,
about the
Sherry.
emotions of money, and today we're talking about anger. Wow. You know something, we do get angry at ourselves when we run short.
Yes.
And to me, anger is a distractor.
Yes. Say that again, girl. Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like
Mhm.
something dancing over here, and
Yeah.
you're like so busy looking at it dancing that you can't focus on this is the way out.
Yes. Yes. It
Hmm.
re-
Yeah,
it
because the
really
Lord says He
distracts.
always makes a way for His children to escape in a time of trouble.
He
So,
does.
so instead of looking for a way of escape, we're watching, you know, foolishness over here with
Yes.
anger. Just go, girl, and da da da, and they, and he, and she, and da da, and you don't have to, girl, please get a grip
Yes.
and focus.
Stay focused. And one of the other things I used to find myself doing initially when I had a job and I had a couple of bills, I would say, I have no money. And one day I said to myself, I said, Karen, but that's a lie. But I used to be saying it over and over and over. And it wasn't true, but it became true over time because I would constantly say, I don't have any money. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't have any
You know
money.
what? You shall have what you say.
Right?
You were just speaking your poverty into existence. And didn't even know. We didn't know it. We didn't
No,
know.
no, 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 we didn't know it. So you got to say, I got money. If you're feeling angry about it, you just say to yourself, I got money.
Yep.
I just been touching it right now.
Yep. What does it say? Let the weak say they are strong. Let the poor say they are rich.
Right? You got money. It's there. It's somewhere around. Go get your money. Go sit down and figure out where your money is and stop
Mhm.
being angry and go and get the money. Now, that's strictly personal. Let's talk business. Your business also got money. If you're angry because you're not selling enough, why? If you're upset that you're not marketing enough, why? If you're mad that people are not buying your stuff, why? That's a chance to investigate, research, find out. I was going to show it today, but I'll show it at some point this month. My calendar might look crazy busy to people because I like bright colors, but it's really there because it reinforces the things I have to do. All last year, I talked about planning and the little tiny things that I have to plan for, and some people don't do it to this extent. It really sometimes, even I as a planner, don't want to do. But every time I don't, I would say to myself, see, Karen, this is why. This is why. You want to get there and do it because the tiniest of things will slip through the cracks. You get distracted, then you get angry with yourself because it wasn't done. So when you see I set me up, like right now, I'll give you a brief rundown. Right now, my Mondays is my CEO days, which means I'm doing research, I'm checking up other companies, I'm looking after what I'm missing. I'm really dissecting me and finding out what's going on. Tuesday is sales calls, is me checking in with my clients, seeing where they're at, working on my courses, getting things streamlined. Wednesday I do my masterclass and I got other things that I'm doing. Thursday is sales again, and Friday is coaching calls. I got myself lined up for all my coaching calls. And again, during the week, I'm still checking in on my clients. Therefore, I'm allowing myself to do the things I have to do. Anytime my mind say to me, Karen, it's taking too long, I say to myself, so where else would you be? Where else would you be? And what else do you want to do? Because that is another form of distraction. And I used to yield to it at different spots in my life. And I'm not going to lie to you, I'm human. So there's times I feel like I'm going there and I have to caution me and say, where are you going and why are you going there? Because later on you're going to be angry. If I knew that I had to write, probably like a week's worth of content and I don't get it written down, that's because I didn't plan out the content. I didn't sit with myself and ask myself, what is my audience looking for? What are they chattering about? And what is it I can contribute to that chatter that's going to make people look and see, hey, Coach Karen is talking about that also. And it pertains to what I'm doing. Now I need to sit my butt down and write that content. Everybody does it differently. Some people scribble, some people draw little funny figures, some people do all kind of puzzles and stuff. Do not worry about somebody else's process. Only look after yours. Mine is if I write a headline, I could write anything under that. So I have to have a headline. So I write headlines. When I'm reading a book, I jot down ideas. When I'm watching YouTube, I write down ideas. If I'm on Facebook and something caught my attention, I write ideas pertaining to what they're talking about. And then I go in now and turn it into headliners so I can write content for it. Whatever is your strategy, it's not wrong or right. Just do you, whatever you need to do. I'm in service, but if it was a product, I'll do the very same things. If I'm selling handbags, I'll be looking at people who are doing other things in handbags, but my main place will come from the people who don't sell handbags. I will go and look at other businesses that is so far away from mine that I can put and bring into my industry so that I can stand out. And I would stop feeling this angry that I'm not selling because I'm being proactive into the process of selling. We do not sell to people when we say, here's my bag, come buy. No, we've been selling to them along the way. The end result is they're purchasing and you getting the money. And that's marketing. All the time, content and whatever you're doing is the marketing part. And then you sell at the end. And that most of us, if you're online, you're going to sell through content. Everything, most things are content. I light a candle. I show you my desk. I show you my office. I'm really bringing you into my world and what I do to eventually entice you enough for you to say, I want what you got. How much for it? And then I sell it to you.
There you go. Wow.
And you could feel what you're feeling, but you can't let it stop you. That's really and truly about emotion that I really want to pinpoint here.
Yes, I think we should give that emotion a short season.
Thank you.
And then decide, okay, when this season, this is the timeline for my feelings. And after that, I'm moving on.
Yes, yes. You have to set it up and you have to move on. Staying in it, don't go anywhere. I heard this lady talking on TikTok, and she said people ask her, how come you got a divorce and you're so happy? She's not happy about the divorce. She's happy because she has to be happy to move on. She is moving through the processing. And she had cried, I'm sure, her eyes out. She was sad, she was angry, she was frustrated, but she had to get up and keep moving. She's a businesswoman. There's nobody coming to save her. She got to get up and do it. God is going to give you inspiration. He's going to tell you that if you're not listening, you don't do anything, you don't move. You got to do it. He is not coming to do it. You got to get up and do it. He's going to give it to you. He is going to give it to you, but you have to get up and now do it. Then you'll see your seasons changing. Then you'll understand where you're going. Then you don't have to be angry. Be happy to pay your bills. Be happy to pay for the cost of running your business. Be happy just as how you'll be happy when you get the rewards when somebody bought your product or service and you get to deliver it and they pay you the money. Be as happy. Get out of the angry spirit. It's not, as Terry said, it's a distraction, big time.
It really, really is. I am so glad that we're talking about this because I'm sure a lot of people have had some situations during 2020 that may have resulted in unforeseen economic impact.
Yes.
Is that diplomatic enough?
Ooh, I love it.
Okay, unforeseen economic impact.
Yes.
Either up or down.
Yes.
Okay. And they may be very upset about it.
Yes. Yes.
We need to allow ourselves to have our feelings, is what I hear you saying,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
and then decide, okay, I've had my little hissy fit. Now let me get on with the business of doing business.
Yes. Yes. Because it's gonna happen. It's
Mhm.
going to happen. You know, some people had the greatest season in 2020, by the way. Some people had the greatest season in
Yes.
2020. If, and I hope most of them put it to really good use because that's their season. It mightn't have been yours, but it was theirs. If it wasn't yours, what did you learn from it? How could you self correct? What can you do in 2021? Because nothing happened with a snap, as we can see. Everybody's like, as soon as we hit 2021, this corona is going to be. No, there's no magic pill.
It was like they thought, you remember when we did Y2K? It was like they thought, okay, Y2K is going to happen and boom, it's the end of the world. So I might as well spend everything I got and whatever.
I remember.
Okay. All of this because of a couple of zeros on a computer. At any rate, I think we felt the same way about 2021, that it would be like crossing over a yellow line in
Yes.
the road.
Yes.
And on the other side of the yellow line was euphoria.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we had clicked our heels 3 times and
Yes.
we were suddenly back in Kansas.
But if they already watch it, Alice in Wonderland, they realize she never left. So
Yes. But the Wizard of Oz, was she supposed to click her heels 3 times?
yes,
Take her back?
yes.
Kansas is not available.
Nope, not happening. This too shall pass, but in time.
Mhm.
So we have to keep doing what we're doing. If you lost everything, you don't have anything, it's probably because you needed a clean state. You're in a lot of muddy waters and you weren't doing what you were supposed to do to get out of that muddy water. If you were sick, you were sick. If you were well, you were well. Whatever you were, nobody can do anything about it. You know, this virus here, human beings need to understand that this is something you're gonna have to pray and wait to God to lift. You ain't doing it. Sorry, you ain't doing it. You have ideas, but you are not physically doing it. I just want you to know. All right, he's gonna lift out when he's ready. But you, he's allowing you some things, and you have to believe in it and allow him to work in you and do the things that you need to do. So, however emotionally charged you are, do not let it stand in the way of your progress.
Okay, and here's the way I look at it too, because I've been through some seasons where I lost everything.
Yes.
And
Same.
I had to sit down and realize, first of all, it wasn't mine.
Mm.
I lost God's money.
Yeah.
And he got plenty more. Okay? And he's very forgiving. So let's sit down, Daddy, and make a plan
Yes.
for what I'm going to do with your money this time.
Yeah. Yes.
Instead of me thinking I'm in charge because it's mine. Okay. So that's my perspective.
I'm sure he gives you so much great answers when you ask and talk to him about it.
Absolutely.
So many great answers when you sit and talk to it. I mean, from a pain in your head to your whatever's happening, if you sit down and you have that conversation, you'll be really amazed at what can happen.
When you recognize who's really in charge.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, guys, it's the top of the half an hour. So can we review real quick? Can we summarize what we talked about today about our emotions?
Yeah, today we talked about emotions behind the money and what's holding you back. And we had a look at anger today. We're going to talk about a lot more, but we had a look at anger and how distracting it is and how it takes away so much energy from us and keep us in bondage if we don't sit back, take a step back really, and analyze and ask how we got here. And when you answer that question, it really changes things because there's no one to blame anymore. You're taking responsibility and you're moving forward. You're not sitting there blaming you or anybody. You just take responsibility and move. Stop the blame game. The minute you ask God for forgiveness, he gives it to you and you move forward. We hold on to things that he has let go of. We really do. And you literally feel it lifted off of you. I don't know for you, and I know you would know the story, but for the people who listen and for the replay, when God takes something off his shoulder, it's a physical release. It's emotional, it's mindful, but it's really a physical release. At least that's my experience.
Yes,
Once
it
I
takes the
truly
stress out of things, does it not?
yes,
So we need to take responsibility and
Mhm.
take control.
yes, just do what you gotta do. Don't get carried out anywhere.
It's
Oh, it's
time
nice
for
to be back.
the RNC. Responsibility and control. Wow. Wow. Well, Coach, I just want to thank you so much. And for those folks who want to find out more about Coach Karen's coaching sessions, where can we find you, Coach?
On my business page at Profits in Daily, there's a up at the heaven there. You can click on the button, and you can always get a free 30-minute session to talk about what you need to talk about: money, mindset, your business, getting things under control. And this is a good time, the beginning of the year, so that you can see at the end of the year what's going to happen. I say it every beginning of the year. At the end of the year, if you don't plan it out and do it and deal with it, you don't like it come December. I don't want to be scrambling then. All right. So I hope you guys have things planned out and set up. But yes, Profits in Daily, you can meet me everywhere. My group is Profits in Daily for entrepreneurs. But Coach Karen Fern, every single where.
You can look for Coach Karen for Karen with a C. You know something, isn't that amazing how God gives us unique names so people can find us?
Right, because mine feel like my mom said when it happened, she was like, "What's wrong with the nurse?" She specifically spelled my name, and the nurse changed it to C, right? And I took it on to the hospital, and then she went away, and she said when she went and picked my birth certificate, she's like, "What the heck?"
Exactly. It's just really, really interesting. But guys, if you're looking for Coach Karen, that's Coach Karen with a C. Coach Karen Fern, like the plant, Profits in Daily. And we strongly encourage you to get started at the beginning of the year so that you can reap the benefits all year round of having had sessions with Coach Karen. In addition to that, we want to remind you, if you're looking to join Biz Chicks, just text Biz to 33777. We'd love to have you become a part of our community. Excuse me.
It's pretty dry. That's what I'm finding. Having to sip a lot of water.
When you turn the heat on in the house, I guess. Yeah. And so please do that and be sure to share that with your friends. We'd love for them to be a part also. So without further ado, we want to remind you that tomorrow is Thursday. We'll be here with Robin Shimizu and friends for Happy Healthy Habits with Robin Shimizu. And we want you to remember to go to the front of your own life. Have a great day, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye. I almost forgot to do